Los Angeles. 1972, the afternoon sun cuts through the high windows of a private boxing gym on Wilshire Boulevard, painting long shadows across the canvas floor. The air is thick with the smell of leather, sweat, and liniment. In one corner, a heavy bag sways gently, still warm from the last round. Then the door opens. Muhammad Ali steps inside, his 6'3" frame filling the doorway. He's wearing a simple gray sweatsuit, but there's nothing simple about his presence. The room seems to shrink around him. His trainer, Angelo Dundee, follows close behind, carrying a leather gym bag. Ali's eyes scan the space, taking in the ring, the equipment, the handful of people scattered around. He's here for a private session, away from the cameras, away from the crowds that follow him everywhere. But someone else is already here. In the far corner, moving with a fluidity that seems to defy physics, is Bruce Lee. 5'7". 140 pounds of coiled energy. He's working through forms, his movements sharp and precise, each strike cutting through the air with an audible snap. The two men lock eyes across the gym. One is the most famous boxer on the planet, a man who floats like a butterfly and stings like a bee. The other is a martial arts revolutionary, a philosopher warrior who moves faster than cameras can capture. What happens in the next few minutes will be debated for decades. Before we dive deeper into this legendary encounter, I need to ask you something. Have you ever witnessed a moment so extraordinary that it changed your entire perspective on what the human body can achieve? Drop your answer in the comments below, and if you're ready to see how this story unfolds, hit that subscribe button because what comes next will blow your mind. To understand the significance of this meeting, we need to rewind. Bruce Lee was born on November 27, 1940, in San Francisco's Chinatown, during the Year of the Dragon. His father was a Cantonese opera star. Bruce's early years in Hong Kong were turbulent. The streets were rough, and young Bruce found himself drawn into the world of street fighting. At 13, he was enrolled in the Wing Chun School of Yip Man, one of the most respected martial arts masters in Hong Kong. Wing Chun changed everything. It wasn't just about fighting. It was about philosophy, about understanding the mechanics of combat, about efficiency and directness. Bruce absorbed everything like a sponge. He trained obsessively, filling notebooks with techniques and philosophical musings. In 1959, after one too many street fights, his parents sent him back to America with $100 in his pocket. Bruce was 18 years old, alone in a country he barely remembered. He worked as a dishwasher, a busboy, anything to survive. But he never stopped training. He began teaching martial arts, opening small schools in Seattle and Oakland. Bruce didn't just teach traditional kung fu. He modified it, questioned it, stripped away what didn't work. He studied Western boxing, fencing, wrestling. He read philosophy, kinesiology, biomechanics. He was creating something revolutionary. He called it Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. By the mid-1960s, Bruce was making waves. He performed at the Long Beach International Karate Championships in 1964, a demonstration that left audiences stunned. His one-inch punch became legendary. His two-finger push-ups became the stuff of myth. He got a role in The Green Hornet, playing Kato, the sidekick who often overshadowed the main character with incredible fighting scenes. But Hollywood wasn't ready for an Asian leading man. Frustrated, Bruce returned to Hong Kong and made films that would change cinema forever. The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon. By 1972, Bruce Lee was becoming a global phenomenon. He was preparing to film Enter the Dragon, the movie that would finally break him into mainstream American cinema. He was 31 years old, at the absolute peak of his physical and mental abilities. Muhammad Ali's path was equally extraordinary. Born Cassius Clay in Louisville, Kentucky, in 1942, he discovered boxing at age 12 after his bicycle was stolen. What happened next was unprecedented. He won the Golden Gloves Championship, dominated the amateur circuit with a revolutionary style that defied orthodox boxing. At the 1960 Rome Olympics, 18-year-old Cassius Clay won the gold medal. He turned professional and began his assault on the heavyweight division with his poetry, his predictions, his personality. In 1964, he shocked the world by defeating Sonny Liston to become heavyweight champion. He was 22 years old. The next day, he announced he had joined the Nation of Islam and changed his name to Muhammad Ali. In 1967, he refused induction into the armed forces, citing his religious beliefs. The boxing establishment stripped him of his title. He was banned from boxing for 3 years, the prime years of his athletic life. When he returned in 1970, Ali was fighting his way back to the top. By 1972, he was 30 years old, rebuilding after his first professional loss to Joe Frazier, preparing for another shot at the title. These two men, both revolutionaries in their respective fields, both at the peak of their powers, now stood in the same gym. Ali moves toward the ring, but his attention keeps drifting to Bruce. There's something about the way the smaller man moves that's fascinating. Bruce finishes his form and walks to the edge of the training area, toweling off. Finally, Ali's natural confidence and curiosity override protocol. "Hey man, you're pretty fast with those hands." Bruce turns, a slight smile on his face. "Fast enough. But speed is only one element." Ali grins, that famous grin that's been on magazine covers around the world. "Yeah? Well, I'm pretty fast too. They call me the greatest for a reason." There's no hostility in his tone. This is Ali being Ali, playful, confident, engaging. Bruce walks closer. The size difference is striking. Ali towers over him, outweighs him by 80 pounds or more. But Bruce doesn't seem intimidated in the slightest. "Different kinds of speed," Bruce says. "Boxing is beautiful. I've studied it extensively. Ali, your footwork, your hand speed, your timing, all exceptional. But it's designed for a specific set of rules, a specific type of combat." Ali's eyebrows raise. "What do you mean, specific set of rules?" Bruce sets down his towel. "In boxing, you strike with padded gloves, only above the waist, no grappling, no kicks, 3-minute rounds with rest periods. It's combat within a framework. What I study is different. No rules. Everything is available. The goal isn't to win points. The goal is to end the threat as quickly as possible." The gym has gone quiet. The handful of other people present have stopped what they're doing. Ali nods slowly. He's intrigued. "So you're saying in a real street fight, your style beats boxing?" "I'm saying boxing is optimized for boxing," Bruce replies carefully. "What I do is optimized for survival. Different contexts, different approaches." Ali laughs, that booming laugh. "Man, you're smart. Diplomatic. But I heard you can move. Some people say you're the fastest martial artist alive. Faster than me even." Bruce shrugs. "Speed is relative. I've trained myself to minimize telegraphing, to move from stillness to explosion with no warning." Ali bounces on his toes. "Show me something. Come on, show me what you got." This is the moment. Bruce nods. "Okay. Watch this." He steps back, creating about 10 feet of distance between himself and Ali. The champion watches with interest, hands relaxed at his sides. Angelo Dundee steps closer. Bruce settles into a neutral stance, knees slightly bent, hands loose. His breathing is controlled, deep, centering. Then he speaks, his voice calm. "Don't blink." The words hang in the air for a half-second. Then Bruce moves. What happens next is almost impossible to describe. One moment Bruce is standing still. The next moment, his hand is an inch from Ali's face, having crossed the distance in a blur of motion. No wind-up. No telegraphing. No shifting of weight that would signal intention. Just instantaneous explosion from 0 to maximum velocity. Ali's head snaps back instinctively, his boxing reflexes taking over, but he's reacting to where the strike already is, not anticipating where it's going to be. By the time his head moves, Bruce's hand is already withdrawn, back in a neutral position. The entire sequence took perhaps 0.3 of a second. The gym is absolutely silent. Ali's eyes are wide. Angelo Dundee's mouth is open. "What the hell was that?" Ali says, his voice a mixture of shock and admiration. Bruce remains calm, but there's a slight satisfaction in his eyes. That's eliminating telegraph. In traditional martial arts, even in boxing, there are small tells before a technique. The shoulder shifts, the hip turns, the eyes focus. I've trained to remove those tells. By the time you see my hand move, it's already arrived. Ali reaches up and touches his face where Bruce's hand stopped, centimeters from contact. He's not scared. He's fascinated. "Do that again," Ali says. "I'm going to try to block it." Bruce shakes his head gently. If you're ready for it, you'll block it. The key is that in a real situation, you wouldn't be ready. The attack comes from conversation, from neutral positioning. Come on, man, Ollie insists, grinning. I want to see if I can catch it. Bruce considers for a moment, then nods. Okay. But I'll do something different. He resets his position. Ollie raises his hand slightly, his legendary defensive reflexes on high alert. His eyes are locked on Bruce, reading for any micro-movement. Bruce stands completely still. His breathing remains even. 3 seconds pass. 5 seconds. Then he explodes again, but this time it's a side kick, his leg snapping out toward Ollie's knee level with the same 0 to maximum velocity. The kick stops inches before Ollie's leg, pulled with perfect control. Ollie didn't even begin to react until the leg was already in motion. Jesus Christ, Angelo Dundee mutters. Ollie drops his hands and laughs, but there's genuine respect in it. Man, that's incredible. That's like nothing I've ever seen. How do you generate that much power with no wind-up? You've just witnessed something incredible, but let me ask you this, could Muhammad Ali have countered Bruce Lee's techniques if he had more time to adapt? What do you think? And more importantly, what happens when Bruce decides to show Ollie his 1-inch punch? If you're hooked on this story, leave a comment with your prediction and smash that subscribe button, because what comes next is even more mind-blowing. Bruce relaxes his stance. It's about understanding kinetic chains. In boxing, you generate power from the ground, through the legs, hips, torso, shoulder, arm. It's a wave of energy, very efficient. But it takes time to develop. He walks over to the wall and picks up a small pad. What I've developed is different. It's about storing and releasing energy instantaneously, using whole-body connection. Every muscle fires at once, synchronized. Ollie is listening intently now. Show me that 1-inch punch thing I heard about. Bruce nods and hands the pad to Angelo Dundee. Hold this against your chest, grip tight, brace yourself. Angelo, a man who's held pads for the hardest hitters in boxing history, positions the pad and sets his stance. Bruce stands facing him, his fist 1 inch from the pad. Just 1 inch. From this position, there's no room to accelerate, no distance to build momentum. Ready? Bruce asks. Angelo nods. Bruce's body seems to compress infinitesimally, every muscle loading like a coiled spring. Then he releases. The sound is sharp, a crack that echoes through the gym. Angelo Dundee stumbles backward 3 full steps. His eyes are wide with shock. Good God, he says. How the hell does someone your size hit that hard from 1 inch? Bruce flexes his hand. It's not about size. It's about efficiency. In that punch, my fist, wrist, elbow, shoulder, spine, hips, knees, and feet all align and fire in the same instant. The power comes from the ground, but it doesn't flow through a chain. Every part of my body pushes at once, focusing through one small point. Ollie walks over and takes the pad. Let me feel this. He positions it against his own chest, his powerful frame set in a stable stance. He's taken bombs from Sonny Liston, Joe Frazier, the hardest hitters in heavyweight history. Bruce positions himself again, fist 1 inch from the pad. He takes a breath, centers himself, and strikes. Ollie absorbs the impact, but his eyes widen. He doesn't stumble back like Angelo, his weight keeping him planted, but the shock is evident. That's crazy, man. That's real power. And you're what, 140? About that, Bruce confirms. Ollie shakes his head in amazement. If you were my size, with that technique? Lord have mercy. But Bruce smiles. If I were your size, I wouldn't move the same way. My techniques are optimized for my body, my speed, my leverage. Being smaller requires different strategies. It's a fascinating exchange. Two masters discussing their crafts with mutual respect, analyzing strengths and weaknesses without ego. For the next hour, the gym becomes a classroom. Bruce demonstrates principles of Jeet Kune Do. He shows how to intercept punches, turning defense into simultaneous counterattack. He demonstrates trapping, controlling an opponent's hands. He shows kicks from impossible angles. But more than techniques, he explains philosophy. He talks about the importance of water, of being formless, of adapting to circumstances. He quotes Lao Tzu and relates ancient wisdom to modern combat. Ali, in turn, shows Bruce some boxing subtleties. The shoulder roll. The way to use feints to freeze an opponent. The psychological warfare that happens before punches are thrown. He demonstrates his famous Ali shuffle and explains how it confuses opponents' timing. It's a mutual exchange between two people at the absolute peak of their respective arts. As the session winds down, they sit on the ring apron, toweling off, drinking water. You know what's funny? Ali says. People are always trying to compare things, trying to say what's better. Boxing or karate. But it's all just people, man. People trying to understand fighting, each finding their own path to the truth. Bruce nods thoughtfully. Exactly. The truth in combat is simple: what works, works. What doesn't, doesn't. But what works for you might not work for me. The key is understanding principles, not just techniques. You ever think about doing movies in Hollywood? Ali asks. I'm working on it, Bruce says, frustration in his voice. Hollywood doesn't want an Asian leading man. But I'm about to shoot a film that I think will change things. Enter the Dragon. It's a co-production with Warner Brothers. It'll succeed, Ali says with certainty. What you showed me today, if you can put that on screen, people will lose their minds. Bruce smiles. Thank you. And you, what's next? Ali's face becomes serious. I'm chasing the title back. I lost to Frazier, first loss of my career. It still burns. I need to prove I'm still the greatest. You'll get it, Bruce says. You have something that can't be taught. You have will. Everything else is impressive. But will is what separates good fighters from great ones. They shake hands, a firm grip between two warriors who've found unexpected kinship. Now here's what I need from you. We've seen these two legends exchange techniques and respect, but what do you think would have happened in an actual fight between them? No rules, no holds barred. Drop your honest opinion in the comments, and if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button because the final part of this story reveals something about Bruce Lee that most people never knew. Word of the encounter spreads through martial arts and boxing circles. Different versions emerge, each more exaggerated than the last. Some claim they fought. Some say Bruce knocked Ali down. Some say Ali proved size matters most. But the people who were actually there tell a different story. A story of mutual respect, of two masters exchanging knowledge, of barriers being broken down. Bruce uses insights from the encounter in developing his techniques further. He begins incorporating more boxing hand techniques into Jeet Kune Do, particularly the jab. He studies boxing footwork more intensely. Ali tells reporters about the incredible martial artist he met, though usually with his characteristic humor. But to people closer to him, he's more serious, talking about how meeting Bruce Lee opened his eyes to combat knowledge beyond Western boxing. The encounter represents something larger than just two famous fighters meeting. It represents a bridge between Eastern and Western combat philosophies, between ancient wisdom and modern sport, between size and speed, power and precision. In 1973, both men are at critical junctures. Ali is 31, fighting his way back toward a title shot. Bruce Lee is 32, on the absolute cusp of global superstardom. Enter the Dragon is being edited, generating incredible buzz. On July 20, 1973, Bruce is at his home in Hong Kong discussing a new film project. He complains of a headache and takes a prescription painkiller. He lies down to rest. He never wakes up. The official cause of death is cerebral edema, swelling of the brain. He's 32 years old, just weeks before Enter the Dragon is released. The film becomes a massive global phenomenon, grossing over $200 million worldwide. Bruce Lee becomes an international superstar, but posthumously. Ali continues fighting until 1981, retiring at 39 with a record of 56 wins and 5 losses. The toll catches up with him. Parkinson's syndrome, likely related to thousands of punches absorbed, gradually robs him of his speech and movement. But even diminished, Ali remains a global icon. He passes away in 2016 at age 74. The question people still debate: who would have won in a real fight? It's the wrong question. The right question is, what can we learn from their encounter? We learn that mastery comes in many forms. That size and strength are advantages but not guarantees. That different contexts require different approaches. That the best fighters are often the most open-minded, willing to learn from anyone. We learn that ego is the enemy of growth. Both Ali and Bruce had massive egos in some ways, but when it came to their crafts, they could set ego aside and appreciate mastery. The encounter represents a perfect moment of mutual recognition between two people who understood combat at the highest level. It wasn't about who could beat whom. It was about two masters recognizing mastery in each other. Bruce Lee's philosophy of taking what's useful and discarding what's not, of being formless and adapting, has been vindicated by modern mixed martial arts. But something has been lost too. The respect that Bruce and Ali showed each other, the willingness to learn rather than just compete. That afternoon when Bruce said, "Watch this," and showed Ali what true martial arts mastery looked like, something important happened. It wasn't a fight. It was a conversation. A conversation conducted through movement, technique, and respect. Both men understood that fighting is just one expression of a deeper truth. The real battle is always with yourself. The real opponent is your limitations, your fears, your complacency. The real victory is in constant improvement. Muhammad Ali showed the world that a boxer could be a poet, an activist, a symbol of courage. That sport could be art. That you could be the greatest and stand up for principle even when it costs everything. Bruce Lee showed the world that martial arts were more than violence. That they were practical philosophy, physical expression of deep truths about efficiency and adaptation. That a person of any size could be formidable if they understood principles. We've reached the end of this incredible story, but I want to know, what moment from this encounter inspired you the most? Was it Bruce's one-inch punch? Ali's humility in recognizing another master? The respect between two legends? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if this story gave you a new perspective on what mastery looks like, hit that subscribe button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. When people ask who would win between Bruce Lee and Muhammad Ali, they're missing the point. Both men won. They won by dedicating their lives to mastery. They won by breaking barriers and changing how the world saw their arts. They won by inspiring millions. The real question is, what are you doing with your time? Are you pursuing mastery? Are you open to learning from people different from you? Are you pushing your boundaries, or content with comfortable mediocrity? Bruce Lee had 32 years. In that time, he revolutionized martial arts, created a new fighting philosophy, broke into Hollywood despite overwhelming racism, and left behind work that continues to influence people today. Muhammad Ali had 74 years. He became the greatest boxer of all time, stood up for his principles when it cost him his livelihood, and used his platform to advocate for causes he believed in. Both men made every moment count. Both refused to be limited by what others said was possible. Both understood that true greatness isn't about beating other people. It's about constantly beating the person you were yesterday. The 5 seconds that changed everything weren't just Bruce's demonstration of speed. They were the moment when two men from completely different worlds recognized the same truth in each other. The moment when barriers of style, culture, and ego dissolved in the presence of genuine mastery. That's the lesson. Not who would win in a fight, but what we can learn about dedication, respect, openness, and the endless pursuit of excellence. Both men are gone now, but their influence lives on. Every martial artist who cross-trains carries forward Bruce Lee's philosophy. Every athlete who stands up for principle follows Muhammad Ali's example. When Bruce Lee said, "Watch this," he was showing a principle. That limitations are mostly in our minds. That the human body can do extraordinary things when properly trained. When Muhammad Ali watched with respect and curiosity rather than ego, he demonstrated what real confidence looks like. The confidence to acknowledge someone else's mastery. The confidence to learn from anyone. Those 5 seconds contained a lifetime of lessons. About respect. About mastery. About human potential when we dedicate ourselves fully. About staying open and curious rather than closed and defensive. That's what changed everything. A reminder that greatness recognizes greatness. That different paths can lead to the same truth. That the real battle is with yourself, and the real victory is in constant improvement. Muhammad Ali was the greatest boxer who ever lived. Bruce Lee was one of the most influential martial artists in history. But more than their achievements, their legacy lives in how they approached their crafts, with dedication, intelligence, openness, and an unwillingness to be bound by conventional limitations. So when you think about Bruce Lee meeting Muhammad Ali in that gym, don't think about who would win. Think about what you can learn. Think about your own pursuit of mastery. Think about whether you're truly dedicating yourself to something, or just going through the motions. That's the real lesson of that day. That's what those 5 seconds changed. Not the outcome of some imaginary fight, but our understanding of what's possible when dedication meets openness, when mastery meets humility, when ego steps aside and allows true learning to occur. Be water, my friend. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Different words. Same truth. The truth that's available to all of us if we're willing to pursue it with the same intensity, dedication, and openness that they did. That's what changed everything. And it still can, if we let it.